Who's are the champions?
What's up? My name is Adrian from Rabona TV Canada. Here to apologize for that singing, first of all, and tell you who's winning each of the Champions League's groups, who's going down to the Europa League, and who is sitting rock bottom. Make sure you let me know who your favorites are for the competition this time around in the comments section, and if you're new around here, why not hit that subscribe button, leave a comment to say hi, and just chill with us for a bit. We've got a great community here. But enough of that, let's get right to it. Okay, Group A is easy. Benfica is going to go undefeated, Man United is going to finish bottom of the group, and CSKA Moscow... I'm joking, of course. Let's get real here. I think that this was actually a kind draw for United, despite having a Russian team in the group, which, nothing against Russian teams, they just make for some long travel days midweek, which is never fun, especially when that winter time comes around. Then again, why doesn't anybody ever talk about the Russian teams that have to do all the traveling? I mean, you don't hear them complaining, but I digress. The group stage is won on points, not on frequent flyer miles. So, with that being said, CSKA is 6th in the Russian Premier League this season, and last season they finished in 2nd. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know much about Russian football these days. There was a while there when Zenit and CSKA Moscow were buying everybody. Krasnodar was getting in on the action, but that seems to have dissipated a little bit. But they do have experience beating Swiss competition, and that bodes well for them, as Basel is the other team in this group. And I think that it's going to be a toss-up between the two for third. Now, the question is, who's getting the Europa League spot? Basel in the Swiss Super League can't seem to keep a clean sheet, which doesn't bode well when you're going up against teams like Manchester United and, lesser so, Benfica, who are great attacking sides. But a fun fact is that Basel actually eliminated United back in the day, back in 2011-2012, when Benfica, Basel, and United were all in the same group. Speaking of Benfica, I mentioned them before, how they're going to go undefeated. Not happening at all. I love Benfica, but they're sort of like the Liverpool of Portugal in that they are great in the attack, but defense is a bit of a question mark. So with that being said, I think that it's a foregone conclusion that Manchester United is going to finish in first. Benfica, they're going to get second. And third is Basel, who is just going to get edged by Benfica, maybe on the last couple of match days, sorry. And I'm sorry, CSKA Moscow, but you are getting fourth this time. Group B is one of the bangers with Bayern Munich, PSG, Anderlecht, and Celtic. You have 3 league champions in this group and 1 runner-up in PSG. However, with the moves that PSG has been making in the transfer market, as we all know, it is no secret that they're going to be a lethal team in this competition. Their attack with Mbappe, Cavani, and Neymar is probably one of the best in Europe, or soon to be seen whether it is or not. Your midfield's always going to be decent with Marco Verratti in there, and their defense, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Meunier, and Kurzawa, anybody would like that defense. Bayern, on the other hand, looked like the real deal in comparison to last season, where they faltered a couple of times and only winning the league, having some bad luck against Real Madrid with the referees, and stumbling against Dortmund in the DFB Pokal. But they've strengthened in adding James Rodriguez and Tolisso, amongst others. And of course, they have the Champions League Don, Carlo Ancelotti, as their manager. Anderlecht and Celtic, on the other hand, will have a tough time fighting for third place. Anderlecht lost a key player in Yuri Tielemans this summer to AS Monaco, so you wonder how much potency their attack is going to have without him providing the service that they had last season. Celtic were dominant in Scotland, as per usual, and I think that Brendan Rodgers is actually going to be able to lead them to a third place finish, so they'll drop down into the Europa League. And I am quite confident that Celtic is going to steal a couple of points from PSG at home with a draw. So, to recap, Bayern in first, PSG in second, Celtic in third, and Anderlecht in fourth place. Anderlecht, not Anderlecht. Group number 3 is Group C, and we're moving right along, and oh man, I cannot wait to see what happens in this group. I loved watching Roma last season. Maybe because I have a soft spot for your boy Mohamed Salah. A Chelsea run by Antonio Conte will be very interesting to see how well they do in the Champions League. And Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid always seem to turn up on those European nights. And Karabag, well, to be completely honest with you, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that the first time I actually heard of them was during the Champions League draw. But now I know who they are. They are the defending champions of the Azerbaijani Premier League, and they defeated FC Copenhagen in the playoffs to become the first ever Azerbaijan team to make it into the Champions League. So Round of applause for them. But I don't think that they will be the first Azerbaijani team to make it out of the group stage, unfortunately, as they will be in 4th place. I just can't see them taking points from any of these teams. Now, finishing 1 place above Karabag in 3rd place and dropping down into the Europa League, I think will be, unfortunately, AS Roma, as they lost 2 major pieces to their puzzle in Mohamed Salah, Luciano Spalletti, and you could argue that a third piece that they lost is Antonio Rudiger, who joined their group rivals Chelsea. Atletico Madrid is going to struggle with their new stadium, but like I said, they always show up in Europe, and I think that they're going to get a very important result in Rome that's going to seal 2nd place for them. Well, Chelsea, I think that they're going to get a massive boost once Eden Hazard is back in their lineup, which should be as soon as this weekend. And Danny Drinkwater is going to be their top scorer in the group stage with 14 goals. Oh shit! Y'all heard about that Group D or what? I mean, of course you have, because it's pitting Juventus against Barcelona. A classic European matchup. But don't forget about Olympiacos and Sporting Lisbon. They're there too, guys. And no, they're not going to be group winners or even runners-up, but they're going to cause problems. They certainly have the capacity to do so. Sporting has really strengthened their squad this summer, and I can even see them getting a result, maybe even a win. In fact, you know what? Sporting is going to beat Barcelona in Lisbon. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the Champions League, my man. And if Celtic could do it back in the day, like 3-4 years ago, whenever that was, when I think possession was like 87% Barcelona to 13% Celtic, then certainly a much better Sporting Lisbon side can do it as well. And with Jorge Judas at the helm, anything is possible. So for me, Sporting Lisbon is going to finish in 3rd place, which means that I'm sorry, Olympiacos, but you're going to be in 4th this go around. I think I speak for everyone here when I say we appreciate you. Thank you for showing up to the competition. Thank you for bringing Chelsea legend Marco Marin back into the Champions League, but we bid you adieu. Now, who's going to finish at the top of the group? Well, considering the, how do I put this, disrepair that Barcelona seems to be in right now, Neymar leaving, Messi not signing a new contract, Iniesta refusing to sign a new contract, Piqué in defense, a seemingly corrupt president, everyone wants the president gone, Piqué in defense, not signing any of their transfer targets. I can't see them finishing above Juve. Even if Juve lost their main man in the defense in Bonucci, they still have Chiellini, but Bonucci is a tough man to replace. Enjoy the show in this group because it's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be some great matches, but ultimately Juve is going to be at the top. I mean, adding Douglas Costa to their attack, oh, Dybala, Higuain, Douglas Costa, Cuadrado, Mandzukic, not all of them at the same time, but with Pjanic in behind, spraying balls around. Beautiful. Everybody loves a revenge story, and that is exactly what Liverpool can get over Sevilla in Group E. No, they can't eliminate them from the competition all on their own, but with a few competent displays, and perhaps Alberto Moreno won't sabotage them this time, Liverpool should be able to not only beat Sevilla, but to beat everybody in this group. By the way, the other two in this group are Spartak and Maribor. Spartak has beaten Liverpool before, way back in 1993, but they did beat them 6-2. I think that Liverpool's going to be fine in this group. They'll drop points for sure because they're Liverpool, but they're going to finish at the top of this group. So who's going to get 2nd place? Again, I know little about Russian football, but Spartak were the Russian league champions last season and could slip past Sevilla for 2nd place. In fact, and this is my wacky prediction for the video, Maribor could slip past Sevilla as well. So, let's lock it in. Sevilla in 4th, Maribor 3rd, Spartak 2nd, and Liverpool in 1st place. Maribor is going to want some revenge on Sevilla after that 4-3 aggregate loss in the 2014 Europa League. 3 years, people. People don't forget.
That was like 8 years ago, asshole. People don't forget.
Group F has a couple of sky blue teams, and spoiler alert, I think those 2 sky blue teams are going to be at the top of the table by the time this whole group stage thing is all wrapped up. Napoli is playing some of the nicest football you could watch at the moment, and with some of the players that they have on their team, like Dries Mertens, Zielinski, Hamsik, Milik, Insigne, they're going to be tough to deal with. Manchester City, well, you get that feeling that they haven't quite hit that top gear yet. But when they do, my God, watch out. They're going to be title contenders. In the Premier League, at least. I don't think that they're going to win the Champions League. They have multiple teams worth of quality in their attack, and they improved their defense a lot in this offseason, bringing in the likes of Kyle Walker and Mendy. so they have competent fullbacks now. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to get them to the top of this group. I think that they're going to finish in second with Napoli in first. Shakhtar is going to be in third, and final. I'm sorry, I love ya, but you're going to get bottom of the group. These teams are just too good, man. There's no shame in getting fourth. Group G. Now, perhaps not the strongest group, but I will say that it's going to be very entertaining, and it could be the most exciting and the most even group of all of these Champions League groups. Monaco, Porto, Besiktas, and RB Leipzig. I think that this one's going to be so close that first and third are only going to be separated by 2 points, and I think that second and third are going to be separated on goal difference. So I guess you could say that first and second will be separated by 2 points as well. So let's start from the bottom. Besiktas has a solid team that had a pretty damn decent run in the Europa League last season. Now that they've added Pepe to their defense, it'll be interesting to see if they can take that extra step out of the group stages. For me though, the other 3 teams in their group are just too good and better than them, so they're going to finish in fourth. Leipzig are playing in the Champions League for the first time ever, and man, did they ever have an exciting team to watch. Keita, Werner, Bruma, Forsberg, all ballers. I like what I'm seeing in Leipzig, and it looks to me like it will be a very successful debut for them in the competition. And I think that they can get second in this group. Now, who's going to get first? Who's going to get third? Dropping into the Europa League will be FC Porto, as they have a fantastic squad this season, but they also have a new manager that is relatively green. He's looked promising for them, but I don't think that Porto has the quality to finish above RB Leipzig. And of course, your group winners, AS Monaco. They've lost quite a few players this season, namely Mbappe, of course, Bernardo Silva, Bakayoko, and Mendy. However, they managed to retain key players in Lamar and Falcao, and they added a few themselves, like Keita Balde Diao, Stefan Jovetic, Yuri Tielemans, and Terence Congolo. They won't have those game-changing displays from Mbappe, who they will be really missing in the latter stages of the competition, but I think that they have what it takes to top this group. Oh, UEFA, save the best for last, why don't you? I think that this is the group that most neutrals will be staring at with those longing, thirsty eyes. Real Madrid, Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund, and a little Cypriot magic from Apoel. Now, as we did with other groups, let's start from the bottom with this one and work our way up. No Drake memes. Apoel, of course, as you remember, had a great run in the 2011-2012 Champions League season where they ultimately met their doom in facing Real Madrid. We won't mention the aggregate score. I think that they will be competitive, at least, and they will cause some problems for Tottenham, but I can't see them getting more than 3 points in this group. Even that, I feel like, is being a little bit generous. So they're going to be in fourth place. No surprise there. So who will be dropping into the Europa League? Dortmund, who eliminated Tottenham from the competition in 2015-2016, or Spurs? For me, it's gotta be Spurs, and the reason why is playing at Wembley, where they just cannot figure it out. They've suffered so much in that stadium, and I don't think that it's going to end in this competition. Both Dortmund and Spurs will struggle against Real Madrid, who I think should lock up first place in this group quite handily. Maybe Bale will even score a goal against Spurs at Wembley. But I do think that Dortmund will manage at least a draw or two against Real Madrid, just like they did last season, was it, when they had 2-2 draws? And I think that those points against Real Madrid are going to be vital in them getting past Tottenham for second place. So it looks like this: Madrid, Dortmund, Spurs, Apoel. Madrid, I don't really know what to say about them. For me, they're the most dominant team in Europe right now, and I haven't seen much evidence from any other teams across Europe that would put them above Real Madrid as favorites for this tournament. Actually, I could see Bayern knocking Madrid out in the knockout stages. That seems like a very plausible scenario. PSG could do some damage in this competition as well, if Emery can get his tactics right, because he certainly has the team. But hey, those are predictions for another day when we know who's in the knockout stages. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you hit that like button, comment with your picks for the group stage. I thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Adrian from Rabona TV, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Peace.